Hey, what is up YouTube? Swang here. This is my Cox Ulm solo budget guide with about 32 million GP of gear. So we're gonna jump right into the plugins that I like to use. So first things is Cox Additions and Cox Timers and Additions on the plugin hub. And then we have Crab Solver and Crab Stun Timers plugins. And these are gonna help set up crabs within the raid. Next plugin we're gonna look at is the AttackTimer plugin. And this plugin is really nice because it shows when your attack comes off cooldown, puts a little tick timer above your head. So now we're gonna go ahead and configure the plugins. So first thing we have Cox Additions. You wanna set this Ulm Hands Health setting to overlay, and then check this Ulm Phase highlight box, and also you can change your final phase color to whatever you'd like. Also down here, small Muttadiles, checkbox those boxes, make sure those are checked so you can see the Muttadiles health. Next thing we're going to look at is the Chambers of Xeric plugin. So this Chambers of Xeric plugin shows our scout overlay while inside the raid, basically shows our room layout. And yeah, that's going to be helpful for knowing what rooms are coming up next. And then optionally, you can also get this Cox Scouter external plugin. So what the Cox Scouter external plugin is going to allow us to do is every time we scout a raid, we'll be able to see what items we need given what rooms we get. So every time we walk into the raid, it'll generate a layout for us, and based on that layout, it'll show us what items we need for each one of those rooms, the necessary items. So here's the gear we're using. This is the price check. I have about 32 million GP currently. Most expensive items are going to be the Dragon Warhammer and the Light Bearer and the Dragon Fire Shield. So here's the mage gear. We have just some mystics and an occult necklace with the Trident of the Swamp and Book of the Dead. This is our range gear, where we have a Masori Assembler, a rune crossbow, some God D'hide, and the Dragon Warhammer. A watering can is going to be extremely useful for getting us out of the flame wall at Ulm. And here is our Divine Rune Pouch. Here's what's in our rune pouch. We just have typical Thrall runes. You're going to want to really use Thralls in this raid, so we have runes for those. And then we want to be able to cast this Mark of Darkness spell and this Undead Grasp spell shown on screen. Alright, so that's basically the setup. And here is our gear we're currently wearing. Is Helmed Knight is not good for all styles. We have Amulet of Fury, Mage Cape, a Ruby Bolts Enchanted for those 100 procs, a whip, a torso, Dragon Fire Shield is going to be really good for tanking, Black D'hide bottoms, and Barrow's gloves with dragon boots, and Light Bearer is going to be extremely useful for our spec cooling down. Okay, so we're going to start scouting this raid. We want to just hit the board here, make sure it's a 0 scale, so saying we are soloing. Alright, let's start jumping into the scouting. Okay, so right here, I'm starting to scout. I'm just looking at the top left to see what I want when it comes to my raid layout. So here it looks like I found one. At the top left, you can see the raid layout is Mystics, Crabs, Shamans, Muttadiles, and Thieving. So with that, right above that, you can see a string of characters that says S, C, S, P, F, C, C, and so on. S stands for Scavs, C stands for Combat, P stands for Puzzle, and F stands for Farming. So that's going to be really helpful for knowing what rooms are coming up next. For this raid, we're going to need our anti-poison sip, which we just hit. We're also going to need a blue salve amulet for mystics. We want the anti-poison for the shaman's room because they can poison us, and that poison starts at 12. So if you do get poisoned in that room, you're probably not going to have a good time. We're going to grab some brews, some restores, and a range pot because we have mystics and shamans, and those are both range rooms starting out. For Muttadiles, we're going to be maging him, so with this setup, we don't have anything that can boost our mage, so we're just jumping in right here with just the range pot. So right here in Mystics, I just throw on the salve amulet. Just want to shoot these down, summon my thrall, and basically just standing here and praying mage with my offensive range prayer. So we're gonna snipe these guys down. An interesting thing about this raid is that we have mystics and shamans, and those can both drop seeds for us. Seeds will be really helpful for farming later. Other rooms that drop seeds are guardians, and you can also, if you need to, grab a rake off the tool rack and rake your seeds yourself at the weeds. So we're just shooting them down here. I have tiles marked. This is one instance where I'm standing on a tile where the mystic is trying to melee me, but also trying to mage me. And so while he's in this specific layout, he can't melee me, so he's continuously trying to mage me, and it just nullifies all the damage. So you can see he's not even trying to shoot me. This is not the same for every single layout, but when you do mark these tiles, if you shift click mark them, they'll show for every single layout. Or every time you get this layout, it'll show. So moving along here, I didn't bring an axe with me, so I'm not gonna be able to chop that tree. I have those pools and those shortcuts highlighted. I'm using the object marker plugin and shift right clicking the object to mark this object. If you'd like to do that as well, it's just helpful for visibility. Alright, starting here off in Crab Room, this is the CM Crab Room layout. So what I like to do is I like to shoot this crab with range, put him on this 1/4 tile, take care of that range crystal, and stun him on this first stun tile, stun this guy on this other stun tile, run over here to this 3 tile, whip out my mage gear, shoot one of them with mage, take care of the mage crystal this way, and then put him over this 4 tile, and we're going to take care of the black crystal this way. This room layout is the exact same as the challenge mode Chambers of Xeric layout that you'll get every single time, so it's good to learn this. Alright, so we're going to stun that guy on that tile right there for the melee. I messed up there and the crab got in the way, so I lost a little bit of time. I'm going to stun that guy again, hit this guy so the light turns red, and that crab over there right next to the crystal is stunned, so the light bounces off, and we have just finished Crab Room. So here we go. We've entered into our first farm room. This is usually where I would dump my watering can in the chest, since I won't be using it for the rest of the raid. So we're moving along here. You can also hit that stam pool if you need stamina. But in this case, I just drank a stamina sip, since I probably will only use 2 sips of stamina for Olm. Stamina is completely necessary. You always want to bring a stamina with you, or else you'll run into a case where you run out of run energy at Olm, and you'll tank a lot of damage. So for shamans here, I did sip that anti-poison sip, pre-potted that right before the raid started, so I'm protected against their poison. And with Rune Crossbow and kind of just kiting them around here, trying to stay against a wall to the best of my ability. When you're against the wall, they will not jump on you. You can see I messed up there, both of them jumped, so I was unable to attack them while they were jumping. For the sake of speed, you just want to stay against the wall and try to stay as far away from them as you can while also shooting them. Also, don't forget to summon your range throw at the beginning of this room. You gain a lot of DPS that way. An extremely good upgrade for this raid though, once you do have the money, is a Bow of Ferrodin. That'll give you about 3 or 4 more tiles of range and let you shoot these guys from way further away. That'll help to be able to dodge these acid bombs much easier. Acid bombs have about a 4 tile range from the center of where they explode, where you'll get hit from them. So the further the range, the better. Okay, here's another room where they've dropped seeds on the ground. We already have our Buchu seeds that we'll need, so we're just chugging along here. Next room is Muttadiles. I immediately am praying range, and then summoning my thrall, putting on my mage gear, and I casted Mark of Darkness right there. That's going to guarantee that when I cast this Undead Grasp on the Muttadile at around 50% HP, when he goes to eat the tree, he will get stunned, and it'll reduce his eating of the tree by 1. So it'll essentially reduce him healing by 1 full healing cycle. So there we go, we got the 2 stuns. So now he's going to eat the tree once. I'm going to get him down to 50 HP again. He's going to eat the tree again. And now I'm free to kill him. So we're going to take him out here. This room is one of the boss rooms where it was the only room where I get an overload. And the overload's going to boost my stats up by a ton and help for killing the big Muttadile. So we grab the overload, we're just going to chug it and start to shoot this guy. Put on our range gear for the big Muttadile. Our Dragon Fire Shield is helping us tank a little bit more hits when it comes to the range attacks. You can see where we're kind of unlucky. We have 2 tiles there at the top left that are marked blocks. And right here you can see me actually set it up correctly where he's trying to run east. So NPC movement dictates that they always try to walk east to west to get to their target location. So he's now stuck on that block tile, that question mark block tile right there. And he won't be able to move.
We've been addicted to marijuana, then to heroin.
Okay. In this room, we want to just grab all the supplies we can get. That'll help so we can farm less when it comes to this final area. Alright, so here we go. We've entered in our last scav room of the raid. You know it's the last scav room because at the top left you can see the SPF right above our raid layout. That means we have scav, then we have puzzle, then we have farming. And farming is always the last room. So in this room, I'm mainly just trying to scav these guys and kill them for some juice, some mushroom, and I also grab a lockpick because lockpicks will reduce the time it takes to thieve the chests by around 20%. And our thieving room is next, so it just makes sense for me to grab a lockpick here. So here we go, I pick up some juice, I pick up some mushrooms, and I'm running to the next room. I want to hit the stam pool because thieving room is kind of a stam heavy room, and so I'm running in here. An interesting note, at 95 thieving and above, you are guaranteed to get at least 2 grubs from the chest. It makes it so the minimum grubs you can get from the chest is 2 at 95 thieving. So this is my route I usually take, is I will just thieve enough grubs to get at least 18 to 20 of them before I deposit. This will speed up the time it takes for the scavenger to eat all the grubs and make the room just a little bit faster. But in this room, you kind of just want to point farm. So we're going to be thieving these chests, and I go ahead and deposit here. And what's nice about this layout is you have these two back-to-back chests right here, so you can just do that boom, boom, back-to-back thieve right there. And then I just use these 4 chests to thieve. You should always have enough time to hit all 4 of these chests and be right next to the trough in this specific layout. So here we go, I'm just continuously trying to point farm. Hitting those back-to-back chests. And I know that I'm done because I will get no points for adding to the trough anymore if the room is completed. I build the chest, grab the supplies, and here we go into farming. Starting out, I want to instantly just plant my seeds. And right after I plant my seeds, I'll either go and hit that stamp pool, or I go to this chest and deposit everything. Main things we want to grab are our secondary ingredients and our watering can and our stamina. This is just so we don't forget them for Ulm, they're already in our inventory. Grab a whole inventory of vials. You can use menu entry swapper to shift right click it and swap your left click to pick lots. And then I am filling up vials according to how many I'll need. If you're newer, this could be more. If you're brand new, I recommend grabbing a whole inventory of vials and then maybe making 15 to 20 brews. I like to make my restores first and then drop my mushrooms that I don't need. Saves an inventory spot. And then right here, I'm cleaning all my buchu, running to the end, or clicking all the way to the end, and then combining my buchu and my vials together to be able to make brews while I run, saving a little bit more time. I like to overload before I even get down here. It saves a lot of time. I just mash spam the brew and then sip about 1 to 2 restore sips depending on how much I need. Go into the chest, I already have all my potions in my inventory. I grab my prayer enhance out and then all my gear. Inventory tags is nice to be able to see all the colors of the rainbow. So we're gonna hit our hammers. Instantly summon my thrall. And here is where the video starts getting a little bit more technical. So there's a lot of YouTube videos on the mage run that I'm doing, but I'm going to try to explain it the best to my ability. Essentially, he'll pull if his head's in the middle and you're on that far right starting tile that I just clicked to, he'll pull his head back, and as soon as he pulls his head all the way back, I'm clicking the mage hand, followed by, as soon as I get my shot off, clicking the left middle tile to run to that left middle. The mechanism that's pulling me is making sure that I have my staff set to accurate. If you set your staff to long range, this will not work. So in a solo, your trident always needs to be on accurate. There are also videos that I've made where I'm using Eye of Iac, the new staff. Relatively new, depending on when you watch this video. And those tiles that you use for Eye of Iac are the blue highlighted tiles, so that's why I have blue highlighted tiles on the screen. So we've killed Mage Hand, and we are going to send our hammers, trying to reduce the defense as much as possible. And we're just whipping. So for the method I like to use, I call it the lazy method, where you want to be able to skip portal special. So the special cycle is always crystals, lightning, portals. So you just saw the lightning there, and I just successfully skipped the portal special. I did this because when his portal special would have gone off, I was outside of his line of sight. So I'll describe that a little bit more coming up here. So here comes the lightning. I'm counting Olm's 1 auto attack. It's always 2 auto attacks and special. So it's his shot is 1, shot is 2 auto attacks. I run to that left side of the head in the middle, and then I wait there for a split second or a tick. If you're tick perfect, then you can do that as well. And then he turns his head middle, and that's how I know I just skipped the orb special. Alright, so the procedure is always the same, starting every hand phase. You want to hit your hammers. Our light bearer is what's cooling down our special a lot, so this is very effective to hit your hammers at the start and then let them cool down so you have a higher chance of getting more hammers. So we're going to start our mage run again. You can see his head turns middle, cocks it back, and I click. Do it one more time. The head goes middle, cocks it back fully, and I click the mage hand. Lets it pull me. And right after that, as I'm getting pulled, I'm clicking to that left middle tile. And that is mage running in essence. If you know you're doing it correctly, and he ends up turning his head middle unexpectedly and shoots out a shot at you, like right here, you're still in cycle. You just keep up the cycle and then keep going. What happened there is the thrall, neither the thrall or myself hit above a 0 as I was making that first shot from right here and being pulled. So since we both, myself and the thrall, hit a 0, the head turns middle and it doesn't actually turn left. So if that happens to you, that's just what's happening. So right there I did a cheesy little run to the far right, because his head was middle and I wanted to skip the portal special. So I was getting out of his line of sight by running to that far right tile. The plugin I'm using for these tiles, by the way, is tile packs. I may have mentioned that earlier. If I didn't, here it is. So the tile packs plugin, there is a on the right sidebar, right there where my plugins are, there's a tile packs icon with the green and then the yellow tile, and that is you can get the Cox Olm standard, and I'll show that on screen in a second. And it should have been at the beginning of this video. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and try to skip. There we go, we skipped portals again. And you can do the 4-to-1 cycle. I don't personally do it because I don't think it's necessary. I'm using probably the I would consider the worst gear you can use for soloing, and so this is just to show that it is possible to do this without too many sweaty methods. Alright, so just like we showed at the beginning of the video, we have our Olm final phase highlight set to purple, so now he's going to rise up and he's going to be highlighted purple, and we know we're on the last phase because of that. This just helps it. If you forget what phase you're on and you see his phase highlight is purple like that, then you know that you can't have a phase of purple. His phases are acid phase, flame phase, and crystal phase. So purple doesn't align with any of those, and so we know it's the last hand phase. We need to kill both hands at the same time. So the process doesn't change. We're just doing a mage run right here. Feel free to slow down the video, pause the video, and see his head pulling back as I'm clicking. So his head pulls back, I click the mage hand. This can also work if he's turning to the right and you can't get him to go middle, his head to go middle, then you can stand on the right side and then kind of guess when he's going to shoot his next attack, and at the same time he shoots his next attack, you click mage hand. This will always also put you in cycle. Because every forward game ticks, he's either turning his head or he's shooting you with an attack. So those are the two possibilities. So right here is a kind of a drawback of this method. You can get any phase specific auto attack at this final phase. So that flame wall, acid drip, falling crystals, the red portal, you can get all of those on this final phase. So by standing here, I am susceptible to getting a flame wall. Right here I was unlucky. What's supposed to happen on this final phase is that not only are we trying to skip the portal special, but we're also trying to skip the healing special right after that. So I believe I do it on this final part here, where there's the first auto attack, here's the second, right at the left side of head, I skip the portal special. And now I count one auto attack he sent to me, and here's the second, and I skipped the healing special. So it's just back to back, skip portal special, skip healing special in the final phase. Nothing fancy, not a ton of clicks involved, just staying high health and looking out for those mechanics. So in this final phase, I want to summon my range thrall, immediately put on my range gear, and then just start shooting the crap out of him. And I'm doing a method right here where he's attacking me once per full head turn. So there he attacks me in the middle, turns his head to the middle, and I was supposed to get all the way to the left there, but I didn't, so I was a little late. So he attacks me in the middle, turns his head middle, and then he turns his head right, and that's one attack per full head turn. Knowing where to stand is get your shot. You start running towards the middle as he's shooting that shot at you. And then when you're in the middle, he's going to turn his head middle, or you can be in the left middle like I've just done, and that'll turn his head to the middle. And then once you go to that far white tile line like this, he'll turn his head to the far right or far left on those far white tiles. And again, this is just included in the Cox Ulm standard tile packs. Main thing I'm trying to pay attention to is my overload timer. My overload timer is telling me essentially when I can sip a brew and not have my stats boosted down. Because overloads bump your stats up every 15 seconds. I'm trying to time my brew sip that'll bump my stats down by 16 or so every 15 seconds. So before the 15-second interval, if I can. If I'm really low health, I'll just spam eat brew and try to get myself back up to full. So that's easier, but I want to stay as high stats as possible in this final phase. There we go. There is a deathless solo in 25 minutes and 40 seconds. Thanks for watching, guys, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Also, if you want to leave any comments about what I missed, maybe I missed something important, please do so. Thanks, guys.